Hi, so I've just arrived here with Fiona. She's wandered over to see what's up. I want to start this session in kind of chronological order, giving you kind of a feel of what this whole process will look like for your prospective walker or whoever you have coming to walk Fiona throughout the day. Now, they may have specific requirements regarding equipment. What sort of collar are you going to use? What sort of leash are you going to use? So certainly your first step should be figuring out what that is. What will they allow you to use? And then we will work from there using the equipment that is the least invasive that they will allow you to use, basically. So what we have here today is, first off, the slip leash that I used last time around. I think I sent you a link to this in the previous email. This is really good. I would actually recommend using this even if you're going to then attach a different leash on afterwards. Starting with this is going to be really, really useful. It's incredibly easy to get onto Fiona, a whole lot easier than anything else. So I'll show you this, a little bit more of this in a minute. Then we have, on the other end of the spectrum, the prong collar here. I know from trying this for the last while that this is going to take a little bit longer than anything else here. And if we had to use this over anything else, and honestly from what I've seen of Fiona, I don't see why we would have to use it, but maybe she walks a little differently for you than she did for me. But if we had to use that, it would take a little bit longer because it's more invasive. We have this clasp thing that you have to get on, so that's the part that I would worry about. Wrapping this around her neck isn't difficult, but then holding her in place while you adjust this clasp is something that is going to take a long time for her to be comfortable with, to be honest. So that's something that if we need to use it, we can revisit that. Just let me know. My favorite solution is the martingale collar. You have one here that's hanging up. This is your one. I brought my own one as well. What I like about the one that I have here is the clasp. You can open and close it, so you can wrap it around her neck like this. With your one, it actually doesn't open. So if you want it to be nice and tight around her neck, which it should be, it's going to be quite difficult to entice her through this small hole using the methods that I'm using today. So what I would recommend if you wanted to use this martingale is put it on her in the morning before you leave, and have her wearing it so that then when the walker arrives, they can attach the leash right onto it, and then you can use it from there. That would be my recommendation, and it would be a whole lot easier. But if you don't feel comfortable leaving the martingale collar on her during the day, I know some people advise against that, so that's just something to consider as well. People do advise against that because it could get caught on something, right? Because you've got this extra loop, which could potentially get caught on something, and she could maybe get stuck somewhere. So use your own judgment with that. I think with her not being a puppy, I wouldn't worry about that happening quite as much. Usually it's puppies who are bounding around and, chewing on things, jumping on things. They're the ones who are more likely to get caught on something, right? Fiona's quite relaxed and she's probably just laying down during the day. But that's only if you're comfortable with the potential hazards that having this on her during the day would provide. If you're not comfortable with that, I would recommend getting one of these ones. I think I got this in Petco. It's the exact same design, only it's got this clasp on it, so you can have the walker actually put it on her during the day. I'm going to practice to see if I can put this one on her, but I actually think it's too small, but we'll just see how that goes today. And then otherwise, the collar that she's just wearing, the buckle collar, if she can't pull out of that, I don't know if she necessarily can, or if that's something that she would do. You could just, you know, connect this straight onto it, which is something that I did last time as well. So that's another option. And that would be something you'd need to discuss with whatever walker you're having coming, because they might not want to use just a leash straight onto a buckle collar. That might not be something that's in their policy. So I'd figure that out. So yeah, just to recap, we have the slip leash. I love these slip leashes. They're very basic. If I was walking her, I would actually just use this, but that's, you know, it's not me. So slip leash is the first one. That's very, very easy. Secondly, we have our martingales. That's my common ground kind of recommendation. I think most walkers would accept a martingale. I don't really know anyone who wouldn't. You have your prong collar, which to be frank will require more work before she's ready to put that on for a stranger. I still probably wouldn't be able to get that on her today, not fully, without scaring her and breaching her trust. So the prong collar is still an option if that's something you want to do, but it would require a little bit more work. And this leash I think is great. There's nothing wrong with the leash that you have, so you can use that. And potentially, I mean, we would use this with the martingale collars anyway, but you know, if somebody's comfortable just clipping this straight onto the buckle collar that she wears during the day, then you could do that too. So those are the options, just wanted to run through those. I'm gonna spend a couple of minutes now warming up with her. I'm going to just entice her towards me with treats a couple of times, and I'm not going to touch any of these pieces of equipment. That's what I would recommend. Any walker who comes here does that. Sit down on the floor like I am here. Don't approach her. Have your equipment out in front of you, whatever it is you're going to use. And there she is. Just entice her forward like this. So I'm going to do this for a couple of minutes. Just let her relax. As you can see, she's quite jumpy still. I think just me talking is actually maybe giving her a little bit of a fright, just those noises. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off now, and I will catch up with you in the next video. And hopefully she'll be nice and relaxed by then. We can start putting on these different pieces of equipment.